let's get to a card that I think should have been really good. And this does just happen sometimes. At the end of the day, a little bit disappointing. UFC 326 BMF Championship, Holloway versus Oliveira 2. Before we get in this main card, any fights you want to talk about on the undercard?
Yeah, we have to talk about the Cody Garbrandt fight. Did you watch this?
I did not. I did not see this.
So I don't know what the fuck this fight was, but so Zhao was winning a close fight, right? And then he kept hitting Cody in the groin, and he had 2 points taken away.
Mm-hmm.
Like he hit him so, like Cody was down on his hands and knees, vomiting into a bucket in the octagon. I've never seen this before. This is on CBS, by the way. This is on the big channel, CBS. This is like a showcase of the UFC for CBS. 2 points taken away in a single round, which when's the last time you've seen that happen? Years and years, maybe never. Like, so, and then, you know, so after the first one, Cody was all gung-ho and charged across the octagon. He was trying to flying Masvidal knee him. And then he calmed down and realized that because of those 2 points, he was going to win the fight, which he was losing before. And then he just literally ran away for the end of the round and won a decision. So I don't know if it was because he was compromised from the groin shots, which he was obviously compromised from. He was vomiting in a bucket, or if he just realized that, you know, he's gotten knocked out a few times in the past, and he's lost a lot lately, and he really needs this win against a guy that nobody's ever heard of if he wants to continue his career in the UFC. So whatever it was, I don't blame him, but it was terrible to watch. It was absolutely awful to watch. Very bad look for the UFC. Like, I think that was like one of the first fights on CBS. So that was a bummer. But, you know, I'm glad Cody won.
I just saw the decision, and I thought it was weird that Cody won a decision by quite a bit. I was like, oh, interesting. A dominant.
It was 28-27.
Oh,
it's a 3-round fight. Yeah. So it's like, it's ridiculous.
First round.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
all
funny.
Right. Let's get in the main card, though. So Gregory RoboCop Rodrigues versus Brunno Ferreira.
We kind of talked about this, that it was that kind of fight where either one of them could take each other out. Previously, Brunno had won the first fight and stopped Gregory. And I thought that, you know, I don't know. I guess that Brunno won the last fight. I thought, okay, well, he'll probably find a way to win this one too. But you, I believe, called it right, Gregory Rodrigues. And I guess good, because he's kind of got a little more of that personality, and he's kind of cool to move up. But that's what we're dealing with here, right? This is those type of fights. It's a firefight. Someone's gonna go, and this is part of the fun part of MMA sometimes, and I enjoyed this. So good on Rodrigues. Pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, we picked opposite guys here, but I think it's really whoever caught who first. I mean, if they fought 10 times, it'd probably be 5-5 with them knocking each other out in every single fight. So yeah, RoboCop caught him with the first real right hook he threw in the whole fight, and caught him right on the jaw and put him out pretty bad. Good on him for not like following up there, because he was standing over the top of him. He could have really hurt him, but I could watch these guys fight every weekend. Yeah, that's an exciting fight for the UFC, for MMA. So who do you got a matchup?
The fight next, I actually think Reiner De Ridder, who lost, we'll talk about later on this card. But I think Rodrigues, it's a tough stylistic fight, but a fight eventually, you have to fight guys like this, and it's a bit more of a name. So I think that would be a good fight to see.
I think RDR would be in real trouble, because RoboCop's actually like a super accomplished BJJ black belt. He just doesn't use it at all, but he's like won a bunch of ADCC titles and stuff. Like, he's probably more decorated than RDR, in fact. But RDR is just huge. So I think I do want to see that fight next, but I think RoboCop destroys him on the feet, because he's not afraid of getting taken down. So
I think that would be good for the UFC. This guy could be a fun guy to keep if he keeps winning.
He is a fun guy. Yeah. All right. This one was fun too. Drew Dober. We knew it was going to be fun. Drew Dober versus Michael Johnson.
We didn't talk about this last week. I think it's kind of an interesting thing that, the online community sometimes makes, fun of things or brings up things. And people had kind of had this joke going around that Drew Dober, he does really well whenever he fights people of color and stuff like that. And it kind of became this online joke. And I only bring it up because Michael Johnson actually said that, this guy's a great guy, he's a cool guy. And Dober was like so appreciative of that. And I thought that was a really cool thing. And in the beginning of this fight, round one, Johnson looked like the quicker fighter. And I was like, oh man, this is cool. And I would bring that up again because I wonder, like, does stuff like that get in a fighter's head, right? Do you almost not want to do your best? Well, if it did, by round 2, it was over because Drew Dober put it on him with a violent knockout. And at the end of the day, 2 good, fun names like that Cowboy Cerrone that you'd like to see on these cards. I hope we see more of Michael Johnson still. He was on that 3-fight win streak, but glad to see Dober back in the winner's circle here again. And yeah, it's cool to see. Again, now we're still off to a good start on this card at this point.
Yeah, Dober's like up there with Wonder Boy as like nicest guys in the UFC too. Like, excuse me, if you see like some of his before the fight, videos and stuff, like you alluded to, he went and like talked to Michael Johnson about the like stuff that was going on online and told him that, he appreciated him. And obviously Michael Johnson's super cool too. So he was telling me, it's all good. He was dressed so fly, man. He was looking so good, Michael Johnson. Yeah. And then in the fight, yeah, you're right. Michael Johnson, 39 years old, still has like some of the fastest hands in the UFC. He's especially at lightweight. He's so quick, but he did, basically what happened was he was dominating the fight, and then Drew Dober in the second round, he just threw out this, he's southpaw, he threw out this like right hand jab, and he just crossed with his feet and landed a full power left hand right on Michael Johnson's chin and put him out pretty bad. So, I mean, that could happen to anyone, and that's a classic Dober move, getting beat up and then finding the chin and landing the knockout. So yeah, both of these guys want to watch them fight. Every time they fight, for sure, they put on exciting fights.
Absolutely. Dober next fight, Beneil Dariush. I thought it'd be a step up, and another guy who's an exciting fighter, but had some losses recently, but a guy who still ranks Dober. I was like, that could be a fun undercard fight for sure.
Yeah, it'd be probably be tough for Beneil. Yeah. That'd be a fun fight. Here's where we started to slow down here. Rob Font versus Raul Rosas Jr.
First off, I'd like to say I'm happy for Raul Rosas Jr. Another guy I like, a personality, young, who got the victory here. A guy who has kind of a boring style at times, but he can also finish you, and we have seen him blitz people at different times. That was not the case here. Stylistically, I just feel like he did what he had to do to win, and he just outmatched Rob Font a lot in terms of grappling. Font really couldn't do much with this guy in terms of when they got to the ground. Raul Rosas Jr. was able to take him down, able to control him, and it just made for a boring fight. This could be a problem down the road the better Rosas Jr. continues to get, because I could see him just being a problem for a lot of these guys. But as he said afterwards, he's in the toughest division in the UFC, so he will probably need some more tools as time, as he continues to move up the ladder here. But hey, gotta win, but this is where the card, as you said, starts to dip.
Yeah, legit no striking. I think 18 total significant strikes in the fight between both fighters. Rojas like 10 and 8 for Font. Just holding someone down is impressive, but it should not win you a fight in MMA. Fighters should be going for finishes. I know that's easy to say sitting in this chair here and not in the cage, but it is the goal, should be the goal in the highest level competition. And I understand if it's hard to get a finish, but you should be going for a finish. And he was not going for a finish at all the entire fight. So, he's young and he looks strong, but I'm not really sure what else is impressive about him, because his grappling is good. But, his intensity, you mentioned he used to just charge across the cage and try to take people down. He didn't do that in this one. He did set some takedowns up, which is intelligent, but I'd like to see when he gets on top do some damage. Rob Font was never in trouble of being damaged at all that entire fight.
No, and like you said, good, smart victory, boring. As far as another fight goes, Raul Rosas Jr., another guy that has a name. And if I'm this guy, I don't want this fight. But again, you want to move this guy up and you want to put him, Marlon Vera. Marlon Vera, traditionally a slow starter. Again, if I'm Marlon Vera's management team, I wouldn't take this fight. But if I'm Rosas Jr.'s team, this is the fight I'm looking for, because he's another name, and stylistically, he's probably the right guy. Although, Vera's always had some interesting attacks when he gets on his back. So I don't want to, it's not like I'm writing him off, but I'm just saying I can see if you're Rosas Jr.'s management team, you want this fight, I think.
Yeah, Cheetah ain't doing shit off his back to Rojas if he fights like he did against Rob Font. So, yeah, that's great. Rojas did say he has 2 years to achieve his goal of being the youngest UFC champion in history, beating John Jones at 23. So that's, he's in the top 15 now, I think. So he's looking for a top 10 opponent, and Marlon's on his way down. So, that's a good matchup for him. Yeah, not a good matchup for Marlon, but he doesn't have any good matchups right now. He needs to take whatever he can get. The UFC is not going to give him options. He's going to have to take whatever they give him, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Co-main event here, Caio Borralho versus RDR Reiner De Ridder.
Yeah. I just thought that he was the faster fighter and, he hit harder. At the same time, this was just a fight that was kind of there for me. Nothing really exciting about it. Glad he got the win. Good. He's part of that Fight Nerds camp that we all love so much. But yeah, I would say if anything, I just kind of came out of this fight thinking like, man, at this point, I'm thinking this card's starting to drag. I can't wait for the main event.
Yeah, he did enough to win. He looked like he could hold his own in the grappling against the RDR. His takedown defense was good. The fact that it was boring was on RDR because he has no athleticism at all. I mean, Caio was fighting with his hands down. He was trying to strike. And every time he'd get in, he was breaking the clinch that RDR tries to throw. RDR striking is just so bad, but he's a tough matchup for a lot of guys. He's very awkward,
right?
And his style is difficult to deal with and difficult to look good against. So I don't fault Borralho for that. I think he did his best. I'm sure you're going to bring this up, but he called out Dricus Du Plessis, and I think that is a fantastic next fight for him. Nobody wants to fight Dricus, first of all. And I think stylistically, that would be a very fun fight between them.
So here's the funny thing. I had to watch this the next day, and I missed the post-fight interview on this one. And I just have in my next fight, he should fight Dricus. So I guess I was on the same page with him and the rest of the world. So this is definitely the fight I would make. This one I think is kind of obvious because Dricus needs another opponent, and this guy is trying to cut the ladder. So
yeah, especially after Dricus's last performance, like he's definitely gonna have to fight down to I don't know what rank Borralho is like maybe 6 or something like that. But yeah, he needs to have a good performance against a lower guy and defend that number 1 position. So main event, BMF title, Max Holloway versus Charles Du Bronx Oliveira.
A fight I didn't think was possible to be boring somehow was. Max could not stop the takedowns and had no answer for Charles on the ground. We knew that when you size these two up, striking wise, it'd be competitive, but we knew that Charles had a big edge if it got to the ground. What we believed and thought was it wouldn't get to the ground often because Max is so good at getting back up. What Charles apparently did was he got really good at getting Max to the ground and taking that out, which made for a very long night, not in a very exciting fight. Over 2 career bonus guys. This is one of those fights just not going to happen. At the end of the day, Charles did what he had to do to get the win, and I'm sure Max probably didn't see this coming either. But at the end, I guess good on Charles. Dominant, lopsided victory, but definitely not fun to watch in a BMF championship. Chevy, before I give this back to you, I just want to say I had a comment when I put this on social media about the decision, and someone said maybe for BMF titles, they should change the rules and not have takedowns. What do you think about that in terms of just a BMF title, making it kind of a different rule set a little bit?
No.
But
but I'm not opposed to they just make another BMF title and you don't have Charles defend the title, kind of thing, because it didn't feel like he earned a BMF title. So that's the problem with introducing this thing, which would never been super high on until Max got it, because it felt like he really deserved it and earned it the way that he fights. And the expectations of this fight are the problem. Same with the White House card. The expectations are not being met, and the disappointment is what causes the problem. Because if this was just a title eliminator, just a main event of a UFC, and Oliveira went out there and dominated Max Holloway like that on his way to a title shot, we'd be talking about that and how great Charles was and everything. But we're not. We're talking about how disappointed we are with the UFC, and all the promos is just showing these two guys knocking people out. And we kind of all thought that Charles is game for that, which he has shown in the past that he's, game to be a gunslinger or whatever. And that's kind of what we were all expecting. Charles said, no, I'm looking for a title. I'm going to go out here and do my best to get a win. So, he very intelligent game plan. Obviously, his takedowns were superb. He took Max down so easy, multiple times. So, and on the ground, he was definitely going for subs continuously, all the time. So, props to Max for defending them, because a lot of people wouldn't have been able to do that. That's probably the highlight of the fight for Max, is that he didn't get finished, which is really sad to say. He got his black belt in jiu-jitsu after this fight just from defending so many submissions. But as far as the BMF belt goes, I don't think that Charles should be allowed to defend it. I think, he moves on in the queue towards a title shot, but you can just pick two other guys, maybe in some other weight division that you think deserve a BMF title shot, or just get rid of it. We don't need it. It was just a fun little thing. If guys aren't going to go out there and try to brawl, I mean, that's kind of what the BMF thing was for me anyway.
As far as next fights, I guess I want to include this on there too. Maybe, I guess Charles, also the bigger picture is Charles does want a shot at Ilya again. And he realizes that he needs to be possibly ready to take Ilya down, because he's not going to win a striking matchup there either, given Ilya's power. And maybe that's just something we have to realize is Charles, was a jiu-jitsu guy for the longest time, and then changed it to he was a striking and jiu-jitsu guy. Maybe now Charles is a complete wrestler too at the end of the day. We'll find out as time goes on, but Charles Oliveira definitely always seems to be evolving. And even though this is not an exciting performance, I do think you can take some good out of that. As far as future fights go, to me, it's got to be, I got two options. All right. To me, Arman Tsarukyan, especially if you can get that fight close to the upcoming title fight we got between Justin and Ilya. Winner, tournament style, we move on. See that. If Arman is going to get the next title shot regardless, which he probably deserves, then you want to make an attempt at having a fun fight with Charles. He's probably going to win anyway, but it just be some Paddy Pimblett. It's a fight he's probably going to dominate, and they probably don't want to do it, but, Paddy can kind of go to the ground and he'll probably just get submitted.
I think Paddy should fight Max, and Max should fight Arman. Or I'm sorry, and Arman should fight Charles. So unless Connor is coming back, right? Connor's there's been rumors he's fighting on International Fight Week or whatever. I want to see Paddy and Connor then.
Paddy and Charles. I mean, I don't have a problem with him lighting up Connor if that's the fight they want to give him too, because I don't think ever fought.
That would be fun too, for sure.
Yeah. UFC 326 was what it was. It was a card that I was disappointed in, but these things happen. We finally got some name value on the card, and it just didn't work out.